Hey there, welcome to Easy Peasy English Channel. My name's Jake, and today I want to tell you a very personal story. A story that changed my life completely. 5 months ago, I couldn't really speak English, and I really couldn't speak it. Sure, I knew a few basic words. Hello. How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you. The usual stuff you learn in school. But if someone came up to me and asked something simple like, "So, what do you do for fun?" Or, "What's your favorite movie?" I I would just freeze. My mind would go completely blank. I had no idea what to say, how to say it, or even where to begin. I would stand there feeling embarrassed. Maybe mumble something like, I like music, and then quickly walk away. Sound familiar? Maybe you've been there too. Now? Well, I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. Sometimes I still search for the right word. But I can have real conversations. I can understand podcasts. I can watch movies without subtitles. I even started thinking in English sometimes, which honestly blows my mind. Pretty crazy transformation, right? But here's the most important thing I want you to understand right from the start. I'm not some genius. I don't have a special talent for languages. I didn't go to an expensive English academy. I didn't move to America or England. I didn't hire a private tutor. I just found a simple, practical way to learn that actually worked. And today, I want to share the entire journey with you, the real story, with all the ups and downs, the mistakes, the breakthroughs, and the honest truth about what it really takes. Because if it worked for me, a regular person with a busy life and no special advantages, I truly believe it can work for you too. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let me take you through my 5-month English learning adventure. My first day embarrassing but real. Let me take you back to day 1, January 15th. I remember it clearly because it was one of those moments that changes everything. I was sitting in front of my laptop at around 9 p.m. I had just gotten home from work, feeling frustrated again because earlier that day, a foreign client had called our office and I couldn't help them. I had to get my colleague to take over, and I felt so embarrassed. That night, I decided enough is enough. I'm going to learn English, and I'm going to do it properly this time. So I opened YouTube and searched how to speak English fast. Thousands of results appeared. The first video I saw had this flashy thumbnail that said, "Speak English like a native in 3 months," with a picture of a confident-looking teacher pointing at the camera. I thought, perfect, that's exactly what I need. I clicked it, full of hope and excitement. The video started, and the teacher looked amazing. Professional, confident, smooth English accent. They were speaking so naturally and fluently. I thought, yes, this person will teach me everything. Then, about 2 minutes in, they said something like, "Today we're going to master the past perfect, continuous tense, and understand how it differs from the present perfect progressive aspect." I paused the video. I stared at the screen. Past perfect continuous. What? I had no idea what any of those words meant. I didn't even know what past perfect was, let alone the continuous part. I felt so lost. so overwhelmed. So stupid, honestly. I closed the laptop and went to bed feeling frustrated and a little embarrassed. Here I was, trying to learn English, and I couldn't even understand the lesson about learning English. But you know what? That night, lying in bed, I made myself a promise. A promise that changed everything. No pressure. No perfection. Just progress. I decided I would stop trying to be the perfect student. I would stop looking for the magical shortcut. I would just begin. Somewhere. Anywhere. And trust the process. That simple mindset shift from I need to be perfect to I just need to make progress was the foundation of everything that followed. What I did instead, the next morning, I woke up with a completely different approach. Instead of trying to understand complex grammar rules, I decided to feel the language first, to get comfortable with it, to make it less scary and more friendly. I had heard about something called graded readers books, specifically written in simple English for people learning the language. So I searched online and found a website that had free graded reader stories. The first story I found was about a man named David who lost his job at a big company and decided to start his own small bakery. It was written in very simple English short sentences, common words, clear ideas. I started reading, and something amazing happened. I could actually understand it. Not every word, but I got the main story. David was sad about losing his job, but then he remembered he loved baking bread when he was young. So he used his savings to rent a small shop and started making bread and cakes. It was a simple story, but it was emotional. I found myself caring about David. I wanted to know what happened next. Would his bakery succeed? Would people like his bread? And the best part? I understood about 80% of it without using a dictionary. That felt incredible. For the first time in my English learning journey, I felt capable, confident. Like maybe I really could do this. So the next day, I read chapter 2. David's first customers came to try his bread. Some loved it, some didn't. He had to learn what people in his neighborhood liked. Then chapter 3. David met Sarah, a woman who worked at the coffee shop next door. They became friends, and she helped him understand his customers better. Little by little, day by day, I was reading more English. And it didn't feel like studying, it felt like living. Like I was living in David's world, experiencing his challenges and successes. I was building my English muscle without even realizing it. Every day, the language felt a little more natural, a little more familiar. By the end of the first week, I had finished David's story. He had become successful, married Sarah, and they ran the bakery together. I felt genuinely happy for these fictional characters. More importantly, I felt proud of myself. I had read an entire book in English. Me, the person who couldn't understand past perfect continuous just 1 week earlier. That's when I realized something important. Learning English doesn't have to start with grammar rules. It can start with stories, with emotions, with caring about what happens next. The power of listening. Reading gave me confidence, but I knew I needed to work on my listening too. After all, what good is understanding written English if you can't understand when people actually speak? But I made a crucial decision: no grammar lessons. No boring textbook conversations. I wanted to hear real English the way people actually talk. So I searched slow English conversation on YouTube, and I found this amazing channel where two friends, Mark and Lisa, would sit down every week and just talk about their weekend, about movies they watched, about problems at work, about their families. It was perfect because they spoke slowly and clearly, but it was still natural. Real people having real conversations about real things. I started listening to these conversations everywhere. While I walked to work, while I cooked dinner, while I did laundry, even while I brushed my teeth, I had my earphones in constantly. Here's the secret that changed everything. I didn't try to understand every single word. I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Instead of stopping every time I heard a word I didn't know, I just let the language wash over me. Like background music. Like being in a room where people are talking, and you're not focusing on every word, but you're getting the general feeling, the emotion, the rhythm. And slowly, very slowly, I started catching phrases. I'm not sure about that. That sounds really good. Let's hang out this weekend. I totally understand what you mean. These phrases started sticking in my brain. Not because I memorized them, but because I heard them over and over in natural contexts. After about 2 weeks of this constant listening, something magical happened. I was watching one of Mark and Lisa's videos, and Lisa said, I had such a crazy day at work yesterday, and I found myself thinking, oh, she's going to tell a story about something unexpected that happened. And I was right. Without consciously translating or analyzing, I had understood not just her words, but her intention. I knew what was coming next. That's when I realized that listening, really listening, with patience and without pressure, was teaching me the music of English. The rhythm, the flow, the natural way ideas connect together. I wasn't just learning words. I was learning how English feels. Shadowing changed everything. About 3 weeks into my journey, I discovered a technique that absolutely transformed my speaking ability. It's called shadowing. Here's how it works. You listen to a sentence, pause the audio, and then repeat it exactly like the speaker. Not just the words, but the pronunciation, the rhythm, the emotion, everything. I decided to try it with Mark and Lisa's conversations since I was already familiar with their voices. I started with a simple sentence. Lisa said, I went to the grocery store this morning. I paused the video and tried to repeat it. I went to the grocery store this morning. Oh my God. It was so hard. My tongue felt twisted. I forgot half the words halfway through. I sounded like a robot trying to impersonate a human. But I kept going. Lisa said the lines were incredibly long. I repeated, the lines were incredibly long. Mark said, that's so annoying when you're in a hurry. I tried, that's so annoying when you're in a hurry. It was frustrating. I felt like my mouth wasn't designed for English sounds. But something inside me said, just keep going. Trust the process. Every day I would spend 10 to 15 minutes shadowing. Sometimes the same conversations, sometimes new ones. Slowly, something began to change. After about 2 weeks of daily shadowing, I noticed my mouth getting faster, my tongue finding the right positions more easily, my voice starting to flow more smoothly. But the real breakthrough came in week 4. I was shadowing a conversation where Mark was telling a funny story about getting lost in his own neighborhood. He said, with a lot of emotion and laughter, "I felt like such an idiot. I've lived there for 5 years." When I repeated it, something clicked. I wasn't just saying the words, I was feeling his embarrassment and humor. I was speaking with emotion, with natural rhythm. It felt like learning a song, not just memorizing the lyrics, but understanding the melody, the beat, the feeling behind it. From that moment on, shadowing became my favorite part of learning English. It wasn't just practice, it was like becoming a different version of myself. A version that could express ideas and emotions in English. My real daily routine. People always ask me, "Jake, what exactly was your daily routine? How did you structure your learning?" Well, here's the truth. It was much simpler than you might think, but I was very consistent with it. Every morning, before checking my phone or eating breakfast, I would spend exactly 10 minutes reading my graded reader. Just 10 minutes. 1 or 2 pages depending on the story. No pressure to finish quickly. No stress about understanding everything. Then, during my lunch break at work, I would watch one short English video, usually 5 to 10 minutes long. Sometimes it was Mark and Lisa. Sometimes it was a simple news story. Sometimes just a person talking about their hobby. I always used subtitles at first, but gradually I started turning them off. In the evening, after dinner, came my favorite part: 10 minutes of shadowing. I would pick a conversation or a story from earlier and repeat it out loud, trying to match the speaker's voice exactly. Finally, right before bed, I would write 3 to 5 sentences in my English journal. Nothing fancy, nothing perfect. Just honest thoughts about my day. And here's a bonus that might sound crazy sometimes. When I was walking alone, going to the store, walking in the park, anywhere private, I would talk to myself in English. I would describe what I was seeing. There's a beautiful tree. The leaves are yellow because it's autumn. A dog is playing with a ball. Or I would have imaginary conversations. "Hi, how are you? I'm fine, thank you." "What did you do today?" "I went to work and studied English." It felt silly at first, but it was actually incredibly helpful for building confidence. So that was it. My entire routine: 10 minutes reading, 10 minutes watching, 10 minutes shadowing, 5 to 10 minutes writing, random talking to myself. Total time 30 to 40 minutes a day. No stress, no pressure, just steady, consistent effort. The key was consistency, not perfection. Even on busy days, even when I didn't feel motivated, I did at least something. Even 5 minutes was better than nothing. My journal trick. Let me tell you about one specific technique that really accelerated my progress: my English journal. Every night, just before going to sleep, I would write down 3 to 5 sentences in English about my day. But here's the important part: I didn't try to write perfect sentences. I wrote honest ones. For example, on my third day, I wrote, "Today was a long day. I was tired, but I studied English. I read about David's bakery. I'm proud of myself." Simple sentences. Basic vocabulary. But they were my thoughts, my experiences, my feelings expressed in English. As the weeks went by, my journal entries got a little longer and more complex. I had an interesting conversation with my coworker today. She asked me why I'm learning English, and I told her about my goal to speak confidently. She said I should practice with her sometime. That made me happy, but also nervous. Writing this journal did something magical. It made English personal. It wasn't just a subject I was studying. It became the language of my thoughts, my experiences, my inner world. Sometimes I would write about my English learning itself. Today's shadowing was easier than yesterday. I think my pronunciation is getting better. But listening is still hard when people speak fast. I need to be patient with myself. This helped me process my learning journey, celebrate small victories, and stay motivated during difficult moments. Bad days happen, but I kept going. Now, I need to be completely honest with you. Not every day was perfect. Not every day was full of motivation and progress. Some days I was exhausted from work and didn't want to open a book. Some days the English felt impossible and I wanted to give up. Some days I felt like I wasn't making any progress at all. On those days, I remembered my promise: no pressure, no perfection, just progress. I told myself, even 5 minutes is better than nothing. So I would watch just one short video, or read just one page, or shadow just one sentence. And you know what? Most of the time, once I started, I kept going. Starting was the hardest part. But even when when I only did 5 minutes, I went to bed proud of myself for not giving up completely. I learned that consistency doesn't mean being perfect every day. It means showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. My English today, not perfect but proud. So here we are, 5 months later. Where am I now with my English? I still make mistakes. Sometimes I use the wrong verb tense. Sometimes I can't find the right word and have to explain what I mean in a different way. Sometimes I get nervous speaking with native speakers and my mind goes blank. But you know what? I can speak. I can understand. I can communicate my ideas, my feelings, my thoughts. I've made English-speaking friends online through language exchange apps. We video chat once a week, and we actually have fun conversations about our lives, our cultures, our dreams. I joined a local English-speaking club that meets every Saturday morning. At first, I was terrified, but now I look forward to it. Last week, I even told a funny story about my first day learning English, and everyone laughed not at me, but with me. Just yesterday, something amazing happened. A new member joined our speaking club, a young woman who was exactly where I was 5 months ago. She was nervous, shy, apologizing for her bad English. I found myself saying to her, "Hey, don't worry. Your English is much better than you think. I was exactly where you are just a few months ago. You can do this. I believe in you." Hearing those words come out of my mouth in English with confidence and warmth, that felt incredible. Because 5 months ago, I was her. I was the one who didn't know what to say, who was afraid to make mistakes, who thought I could never really learn English. Now I'm the one offering encouragement, sharing my story, helping others believe in themselves. That transformation from scared beginner to confident encourager, that's what makes me most proud. Not perfect grammar or native-like pronunciation, but the ability to connect with people, to share ideas, to help others. Final thoughts. You've got this. So if you're still listening to this, thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for letting me share my story with you. And if you're sitting there right now wondering, can I really learn English? Is it possible for someone like me? I want to look you in the eye and tell you. The answer is absolutely, completely, definitely yes. Not in one day. Not perfectly. Not without effort or patience. But step by step, day by day, you can transform your relationship with English. You can go from fear to confidence, from confusion to understanding, from silence to conversation. Here's what I want you to do right now, today. Start small. Read one page of a simple English story. Find one short video and watch it. Repeat one sentence out loud. Write one simple sentence about your day. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for more time. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Just begin. Trust the process. Be patient with yourself. Remember, no pressure, no perfection. Just progress. If I could learn English in 5 months, a regular person with a busy life, no special talent, no teacher, no school, no perfect plan, then so can you. You've got this. You really do. And I'm here, cheering for you every step of the way. Thank you for listening to my story. Now go create your own English success story. I can't wait to hear it.